And this week we're really starting to dive into the actual content of our course. And we're going to be looking at Ferguson's chapter, which is competition, which kind of takes us from, it drops us right around the time of the Renaissance and then moves us forward through the age of exploration, and is really juxtaposing the Chinese dynasty at this time and what they're doing with Europe kind of coming out of what is the Middle Ages, diving through the Renaissance, and then starting to change over into this money-based economy. For this week, I'm asking you to do two things as you read and then watch that short clip on the Renaissance, which I admit is dry. One, I've put terms of the week into the Moodle intro. Those terms are things that you want to look up and understand before you read Ferguson, because as I think I've mentioned in other places, what Ferguson is doing is he's assuming you know lots of history, and then he's starting to analyze history. But he's going to drop things and assume that you know what those things are and then how they kind of changed pieces of history. If you don't know that, you're really going to miss out on a lot of what Ferguson's talking about. I could have probably loaded that with 20 terms, but what I tried to do is pick out things that in World History 2 courses people are going to assume that you've had exposure to. So look up those terms, kind of keep them in your notes, and then read Ferguson. They're going to make a lot more sense. But the other thing that we're doing in our post forum, and that we're going to do moving forward, is we're going to share some of the teaching in that forum by doing what in history are called IDs, and you may have run into these in other places. It is a formal history thing. I think, though, it's a mini piece of writing that even if you are not going to become a history teacher, even if you're not going to take another history course, it's a good piece of targeted writing. And what I'm asking you to do is basically identify something, describe it, and then tell us about its significance. We're going to be using terms from Ferguson, but then diving deeper into those terms. It gives me a chance to see that you, one, know how to look something up, and two, and probably more importantly, can really think about the significance of a particular piece of history and describe that to your peers. In that post forum, basically, as a peer, all you have to do is read all of those, and you're going to get a lot of history very quickly from your peers, but then each of us are contributing a small piece. What I'm going to do for each of the times that we have IDs, and next week we'll be doing religions, is I'll assign each of you a term or a religion or a whatever with your name and then the thing that you're going to be bringing back to the group. So hopefully these are ways for each of us to do something small and focused, but then for the group to bring back a larger piece of history, so that we can have Ferguson, have that kind of narrative going on at one level of the class, but then have these little mini lessons that we're bringing back to one another in the forums. So hopefully this will be helpful.